Yeah, Jamal and I is here for Seconds Out. This is a question directed to all three of you. So the match that makes sense next is Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. Maybe next week. Everyone wants to see that. And then Don and Takeshita, just in terms of that singles match against Omega, how does that one go? How long does that match last?
I think we've been clear. Takeshita has wanted to test himself against his former mentor, Kenny Omega, for years, I think. In my opinion, Kenny has not won a big singles match since he and I had our split. I think he's 0-6. So that continued tonight. Takeshita pinned him. And we're tired of waiting, frankly. We want to test Kenny Omega in a singles match, and I would love it. One of my favorite cities, Chicago, Illinois, if we can book that match, Takeshita and Kenny Omega one-on-one, Mr. Khan, I think that would be a great match, to your point, that people would like to see. We're not satisfied with beating Kenny Omega in a six-man. It was great. But Takeshita wants to prove he can do it in a singles. And I would love to do it at Chicago if Mr. Khan is willing to book that.
Yes, please.
Hi, I am willing to book it. And I think it would be a great match. And based on what I saw tonight here, it was a classic match. I thought it was very fitting that the original All In featured the Golden Elite in a great six-man match. Tonight, the Golden Elite were also in a great trios match. The result was different tonight. And Takeshita-san was incredibly impressive. We have AEW All Out coming up 1 week from tonight in Chicago, Illinois, next Sunday. I think that would be a tremendous match. Takeshita versus Omega, one-on-one. You have a deal.
Thank you very much.
I only have one thing to say. I'll show you in Chicago. I'm going to beat Kenny Omega again.
Here's the thing, and this is the difference. People say, what's the difference now that Kenny Omega is on his own? The reality is that I named Kenny the God of pro wrestling, but the real hand of God in this relationship was not Kenny, it was me. Kenny is an uber-talented, incredible natural athlete. However, in my opinion, he's mentally weak, and I was a crutch for him for a long time. And as soon as we had a couple of disagreements, he fell back on his codependencies, whether it be with the Bucks or with Kota Ibushi or with Hangman Page. You can have great athletes, but when they are mentally weak, they are not successful. And I have no tolerance for weakness, and I have no tolerance for stupidity. And so our goal here is to prove to the world that Kenny Omega is done. Kenny Omega is done. Takeshita is going to be the new ace, if you want to call it that, of All Elite Wrestling. And we're going to prove it in Chicago, and I am very excited about it. And all of you people, all of you Kenny Omega apologists, Alvarez, Meltzer, you're all going to eat it. You're all going to eat it. And I want to hear the diatribes on all your little shows and in your little newsletters about Don Callis was right. Figure out how to type those words, because you're going to be typing them after Chicago.